Julian Sayin, 5-star in the high school recruiting rankings, was also a 5-star in the transfer portal rankings. All kinds of arm talent, knows how to make all the throws on the field. And for the future, that's probably a guy who starts some games at Ohio State.
I don't think you can talk highly enough about what Julian Sayin has done. It's hard to believe he's a first-year starting quarterback because he has looked so efficient and poised in every single situation.
He has done an unbelievable job since day one. He's getting it done on the biggest stage.
Yeah, Ohio State has a pretty darn good track record of taking 5-star players and having them develop. This graphic is just exploding with talent. All these guys are just amazing players for Ohio State. So who are the guys they're going to bring in? Well, some pretty big names. Chris Henry Jr., one of the top 10 players overall, 5-star player. Once again, the best wide receiver in the country. Sincere Johnson is a kid from Cleveland, the number 2 player in the state. Sam Greer, the number 3 player in the state of Ohio. Here's what Ryan Day had to say to us on the first signing day.
This is a very talented group of young men. When you look at, a lot of the positions, we have to address every position. Obviously up front is critical, and I think we've done a really good job there. But overall, it's an excellent group. These guys care about Ohio State. You can tell from the jump with a lot of these guys. They've been committed for a long time, or the guys that have jumped in recently are just really excited about what we're doing. It's a great day for these guys. I mean, this is a point in their lives where it's one of those timeline moments, signing with Ohio State. And so, they're finishing high school careers, and a lot of guys are going to be here in the next month. And, being a dad and going through this with my son, man, I'm just happy for these families because it's a moment to, be thankful. Be thankful for not only for the people that invested in these guys, but be thankful to be in this position, to have this opportunity to be a part of something special.
Overall at the class for Ohio State, 4th best in the country, 3rd best in the Big Ten, and they are the only team in the country with a top 5 recruiting class and a top 5 transfer class. A bunch of guys to break down here, including Chris Henry Jr., who is a familiar name. His dad played in the NFL for 5 years, and he's been committed to Ohio State for a long time. When he finished his freshman year in high school, he said, I'm going to go be a Buckeye.
And he still held off a little bit before he signed those papers, so they were sweating it out a little bit in Columbus. But this is an outstanding player. Again, one of those tall, long guys that can make a huge impact for them coming off the West Coast. Really a guy that can go up and get the football, really tracks it well. One of the things that you've always noticed, or I have, when you talk about guys that are coming into Ohio State, how do they attack the football? Do they attack it with their hands? Do they have strong hands? And those are all of the traits that Henry has, and he's going to be outstanding for them. I think Greer is another guy. You heard Coach talk about being able to really sustain the line of scrimmage, and everything starts up front. So they have to continue to do that. You see the athleticism, being able to understand what's being asked of him, not only just being able to block at the point of attack, but going to the second level. He's so big and physical, he's been able to just have a lot of success going against some of those D linemen.
Yeah, Howard, you mentioned Chris Henry Jr. The thing about Ohio State, they never just signed one good receiver. They have several of them. Jaquaden Guilford pushed towards 5-star status after a really outstanding senior season. Sometimes it's hard to get verified measurables on these high school guys, but he went to camp, ran 4.47 on the laser, so we know he can run. Big-time playmaker. Then Sincere Johnson, same high school, same position as Arvell Reese. That worked out pretty well. Sincere filled the stat sheet throughout his high school career. Just an absolute nose for the ball. Very, very physical, big. Also moved way up in the rankings after an outstanding senior season, and then a really good performance down at the All-American Bowl in Texas. So a guy that I think can maybe come in and push for time a little bit as a freshman.
As for transfer additions, Terry Moore, one of those guys, Howard, injured this past year, second-team All-ACC the year before.
Yeah, but you see his abilities. When he's healthy, he can go up and take the ball away, and that's one of the things you look for when you start to think about what they're losing with Caleb Downs, really a heady safety that can make all the plays. When you look at the guys that they have coming in, when you look at Moore, you look at Earl Little Jr., these are guys that want to be physical. They will throw their bodies away. We see him going up and making the play here. But with Little, I love the way he comes down, really triggers at the line of scrimmage when there's a run play set up, and he's able to make those plays. Two outstanding safeties. And when you look at the way Caleb Downs was able to develop, that was great.
You got a couple of guys transferring over from Alabama in the transfer portal, which we learned recently works for Ohio State in the past as well. And keep in mind, Ohio State's only 2 losses this past year were to the 2 teams who played in the national championship game. One of them being the guys who won the national championship. That would be the Indiana Hoosiers. The champs are here for the first time ever. Indiana gets to have a signing day coming off a national championship. And they got there because of the transfer portal. Again, their numbers weren't amazing. Top 30 class 2 years ago, top 25 class last year. Good classes, but not amazing. And yet they won the national championship. Think of what they might be able to do this year when they have a top 10 overall ranked transfer portal class. And it's time to bring in the man who is the national champion. Nice ring to it. He is Kurt Cignetti. Kurt, since you won that national title, in what ways did things feel different when it comes to bringing in players to your program?
Well, you got a lot of people wanting to walk through the door. You got a higher caliber recruit, that's for sure. And that's an exciting thing, especially high school wise. That's a foundation, no doubt about it. Now you got to capitalize on it.
Your culture has been so good the last 2 years in Indiana, but to your point, you haven't had the highest of guys. You haven't had the 5-star guys. So with that new reality, how does Indiana adjust to things of trying to keep the culture that made you a national champ, but having these different types of players available?
I mean, it's a daily process. I mean, the things that are important to us aren't going to change. And that's, improving daily as much as you can. So it's still about selecting the right people, and they've got to fit our program. And, I will turn away talent if I don't think, the work habits or the commitment's there. So, that part of it hadn't changed at all.
Why will Indiana fans like quarterback Josh Hoover?
Well, I'll tell you what, he started a lot of football games. He's won a lot of football games, done a lot of touchdown passes. He's got quick release. He's very accurate. He's a competitor. He's smart. And looking forward to developing him.
You got a few edge rushers in the portal. Tell me what excites you about those guys.
Yeah, we got 3, and then we've got Daniel Ndukwe coming back, who's developing also. We got 2 from Kansas State. Chitty's kind of a bigger guy that could also move into tackle. Our field end has to play a little 4-eye once in a while. So, and you got Toby, who's more of a stud guy that's got really exceptional initial quickness and movement skills, pass rush ability. And then you got Josh Burnham from Notre Dame, probably can play on both sides of the ball. A guy plays with a lot of effort, good football player. So we needed some guys there. We got some young guys, too, in the program that could develop, and so we're excited about that.
Well, to that point, the freshman D linemen you're bringing in this group are also really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 or 5 inside guys that we really liked in the recruiting process. And, of course, we returned Tyreek Tucker and Landino and brought Joe Yelly in from Tulsa, who mixed it up pretty good there. But some of those young guys will have to crack the number 4 spot, number 5 spot. So looking forward to it.
Good problem to have that much depth, huh?
Well, we'll find out how much depth we really have after we practice.
Right.
On paper, it looks pretty good, but, a lot of those guys are young.
Speaking of young guys, it was really fun to watch Charlie Becker develop this past season, especially the second half. You have some intriguing freshman tight ends you're bringing in this group.
Yeah, we do. Now, unfortunately, a couple of them won't participate fully in spring ball. Brock Schott from Miami had a labrum surgery, in his hip while he was at Miami, and he won't be cleared till after spring. And Trevor Gibbs showed up, needed a couple screws in his foot. So, I'm not quite sure how much he's going to be able to do. So that's probably the biggest question mark right now as I look at the offense is how that thing will end up looking come the end of fall camp. So, but, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Give me the most interesting person you've heard from since winning the national title.
I don't know. I got a letter from Mike Pence this morning. I was pretty thrilled about that. And, Al Groh, who's a coaching old-timer, had some great jobs in his day, wrote me a 6-page letter,
Wow.
which, had to have taken a lot of time, and really appreciated that. So, been hearing from a lot.
Yeah. Do things feel different? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the swag you're wearing isn't even the national title swag. That's from 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't wear this for any particular reason other than I like the way it feels. I like the material, and it's a longer cut than the 25-26 version, which is a little thinner, not quite as long. So that's the only reason I wear it, and I got a lot of them. So, it's one less decision I got to make every day, what to wear to work.
Yeah, well, I think you've earned the right to wear whatever the heck you want. The national champion, Kurt Cignetti. Congratulations on this class. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
I could talk fashion with him all day, right? Who doesn't want that? Here's a look at the class breakdown for Indiana. The recruiting rank, 32nd for the class. Transfer portal, again, top 10 overall. By the way, before we get into our discussion, how amazing. I say, how much of a coach is this guy? I say, who are the interesting people who reached out? The first name he says is a former vice president. The second is Al Groh. And he was more interested in talking about former coach Al Groh than the fact that a vice president had reached out to him. One of the names you saw on there was Nick Marsh. And that's really interesting in that one position of wide receiver, Alan, because they're losing Elijah Surratt. That might be the replacement they need.
That was a big need in the portal, and Nick Marsh was a big fish, one of the more heavily sought after transfer portal receivers. And he had some other visits scheduled after he visited Indiana, was there first, was scheduled to head to Notre Dame afterwards, and the coaching staff at Indiana made sure they didn't let him get to South Bend before getting a commitment from him. So absolutely huge. You look at some of the things Omar Cooper does in terms of contested catches, making catches in traffic. Nick Marsh brings that to the table. But absolutely gigantic addition, and one, like I said, that they had to make sure that they closed it down before he could get to some other schools. Toby Asinsami talked about that transfer portal class in the front seven. You watched Indiana play down the stretch, and they were constantly putting heat on the quarterback. They want to continue to do that, and they did a really good job in the portal with fortifying that position. Toby's a really, really good athlete, was a high school safety who played some linebacker, and I think has NFL upside.
Josh Hoover, a lot of expectations will be placed on this young man to come in and live up to what's been happening there last year and the previous year. But he's a guy that has a lot of experience, as Coach talked about, a lot of passes thrown, understands what he needs to do, and really has grown as a quarterback as he's continued to go through college. So this is a guy that's going to give them some instant success really quickly. Mahaney is another type of player. When you start to think about being able to make plays, it's going to be impressive to you to be able to do it from the defensive line position. This is an Indiana team that's made a concerted effort in the D-line. We know how good they are. You also heard Coach talk about they're going to be competing for some of the fourth and fifth spots. But when you start to build this depth at this particular point, this is where you need to get it done. Gabriel Hill is another one. We talked about, again, young players that can really help your program, can develop strength. He does a great job of splitting the double team right there, getting to the quarterback. Some of the things you just can't teach young players. He's aggressive, keeps his shoulders up, and penetrates. Really like what they've been able to do at that position, and really speaks volumes about what this coaching staff values, the trenches.
You can see the rising profile of the type of kids Indiana recruits, especially now going into the 27 class. Parker Elmore is the kind of guy, though, that they've built the program up on, a guy that everybody else just seemed to miss. He missed his sophomore season because he was injured, transferred, had to sit out his junior season. So for 2 seasons, you didn't see him. Then as a senior, the guy catches 58 passes for nearly 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, and another just sleeper recruit for Coach Cignetti.
You mentioned Josh Hoover. He's obviously the big name. He's the quarterback. He's expected to take over the reins from the Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza. Interesting nugget on him. Though he played at TCU, he first committed to Tom Allen and Indiana, then switched at the end to go to TCU. But kind of big picture, Howard, I mean, Indiana's the national champ by getting transfer portal and getting recruits that fit with what their head coach knew how to do.
Yes, Mike, but I'll tell you what we need to keep an eye on, right? He's built this team through the transfer portal and developed players. As he continues to have the success that he's having on the recruiting trail, you see those numbers increasing with the high school players. We're going to see a shift now. He's still going to go out and plug the guys in that he needs, but he's building that depth you asked him about. You're going to start to see that in this roster moving forward.
Yeah, and to that point, just had a couple of junior days in Bloomington where they're hosting 2027 kids. That list of kids, very impressive. It's a national list. Kids want to come check out what's going on at Indiana, so you can see that having an impact on the trail, even though, just starting to get started in the 27 class, but just the profile of the type of high school recruit who's visiting Bloomington, it's a little bit higher than you're used to in the past, but they'll never compromise on the type of kid they want.
That's the important part. Yep.
0 5-stars, 8 4-stars on the entire roster that won a national title. If they get their type of kid and it's more 4 and 5 stars, imagine.
Thanks for reminding me about the 0 5-stars. I haven't had that in my mentions for the last, year.
Not once. Clearly, you were the problem with that.